You know what it's like when your mate sends you a pic of a dress she likes, and you think, wait a minute, I would look so good in this. Well, Samsung's Galaxy S23 FE can help. Just draw a circle around the dress, and Circle to Search with Google will help you find it. Sorry, Jen, it's not your colour. And send.
Incredible AI. Now on more Galaxy devices than ever. Buy a Galaxy S23 FE today at Samsung.com.
The best of music on your station.
The local and European election counts on Highland Radio. The results.
Yes, indeed. You're very welcome along to the second day of coverage here on Highland Radio of the local and European elections. It's Greg Hughes here with you throughout the day from the Aura Leisure Centre as we keep an eye on Letterkenny and Milford for you. But as we promised you in the run-up to these elections, and indeed yesterday, we have our teams right across the county. You will not miss a thing. If you are interested in politics, if you're interested in the results of the local election, and you're from all over, wherever you are in Donegal, will stick with us. As I say, you will not miss a thing. So before we run through, I suppose, the tallies from yesterday and what we can expect for today, we'll just touch base with the teams and just say a very good morning and find out what's happening in the various areas. I'll go to you first, if that's okay. Oisín Kelly, you are in Glenties for us. How's things going there? Very early doors, but just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, good morning, Greg. Welcome along to the Highlands Hotel. Majin White, Fáilte and Highlands Hotel Sna Glanty, Oisín O'Kelly, and Shaw, Le Shannon Ní Elkin. So a very good morning to you, Greg. We're in the heart of the Gaeltacht, so we thought we'd start with a bit of Irish this morning. And counting's underway here, so we are up and running.
Brilliant stuff.
We were in very, very early, and I suppose you're looking for a rundown, Greg,
well, in a
of
second,
where we're
I just want to make sure everyone's there. I'll come back to you in a second. Michaela Clark, good morning to you. Tell us where you're from and what you'll be covering for us today.
Good morning, Greg. So I am here in Carndonagh Community School, and I have Niamh Shields with me, so she's keeping me on track, and also Mark Gallagher's here for the tech side. So we're going good so far. The ballot papers have just been put out on the tables there, and the counting started. So quiet enough here so far. We have one candidate, Tony Devine, is here so far, but quiet at the minute.
Yeah, I don't think we have any candidates yet from Milford, Letterkenny. Good morning, Donna Marie. How are you getting on? Where are you from? What are you going to be covering for us today? Oh, there we go. That's a slap in the wrist for Marty Friel. We'll come back to you in a second. I never imagined this could have happened. Donald Kavanagh. Oh, are you there, Donna Marie? No? No, you're not. Okay. Donald Kavanagh, can you hear me? Good morning to you. Right, okay. People are muting instead of using faders. All right, then we'll come back to you in a second. What I'll do is I'll give you a rundown of what's happening here in Letterkenny. So we're focusing on the Milford and Letterkenny areas, of course. And just starting with Milford, there are 9 candidates, of course, contesting 3 seats. And we had a very interesting day yesterday in terms of tallies and what have you. And I'll run down through them for you as I have them here in front of me. The quota we're anticipating to be around 2,036 here in Milford. John O'Donnell, Independent, 1,327. Many observers here surprised at his showing. They're expecting it to be higher than it was. Liam Blaney of Fianna Fáil, 1,534 votes there for him. Pádraig McGarvey, Independent, 1,378. I think he'll be pleased with his showing yesterday. Maria Doherty of Sinn Féin, she polled 918 first preferences according to our tallies. Declan Meehan, an Independent, one of the big stories of the day from right across the county. His first preference, 1,712. Aaron Sweeney of Fine Gael, I think the party might be quite disappointed that more of their supporters didn't come out to vote. 497 first preference votes he has, according to the tallies. Kathleen Deeney of Ainty, 131. Eamon Jackson of 100% Redress Party, 499. Vincent Bradley, Independent, 143. And the operating consensus here is that Declan Meehan, of course, is going to be taking a seat in Donegal County Council. Liam Blaney of Fianna Fáil is going to retain his seat. And it seems to be a shootout, but nothing's guaranteed, of course. It seems to be a shootout then between... It seems to be a shootout then between Pádraig McGarvey and John O'Donnell. I'll come back to Letterkenny, but we'll go to Glenties next. Or maybe Oisín's not ready for us. Donald Kavanagh, can you hear me now? Good morning to you.
I can indeed, Greg. Hear you loud and clear. Good morning.
Yeah, okay. Good morning to you. Right. So, what's the lay of the land in Lifford Stranorlar?
Well, the lay of the land in Lifford Stranorlar is the counters have started. They have begun counting votes. There are no tally people at the railing at all. There was a very comprehensive tally done yesterday with the exception of one box in Stranorlar that hasn't been tallied. So there'll be a lot of interest when that box gets put out. Situation as it stands at the moment with a projected quota of 1,582. Independent Martin Scallon has been doing all the running. He's on 1,387, looks set to be elected to Donegal County Council. Outgoing Cathaoirleach of the council, Martin Harley of Fine Gael, he's on 1,200. Outgoing councillor Patrick McGowan of Fianna Fáil is on 1,125. Outgoing councillor Frank McPherty on 1,188. And outgoing councillor Gary Doherty on 1,151. Those five we would assume are set to be elected to Donegal County Council. The final seat is going to be a very tough one to call. Outgoing councillor Jerry Crawford of Fianna Fáil is currently sitting on 984. Dakota Nick Venman of Sinn Féin is sitting on 782. The other Sinn Féin candidate, Tony McDade, on 615. Given that the outstanding tally is from Stranorlar, we would expect that Dakota Nick Venman would get more from that box than Jerry Crawford would. So that, we presume, is going to pull Dakota Nick Venman closer to Jerry Crawford. And there's going to be a battle, it's believed, between those two for the final seat. There is one more element in this equation that can't be ignored. That's Niall McConnell, the independent candidate, who is currently sitting on 856. Now, Niall McConnell could have a lot to say in terms of the outcome of this election. Is he going to attract enough transfers to be a credible runner and a candidate that could be elected to Donegal County Council? That remains to be seen. Some doubt over whether he will attract sufficient transfers to stay in the race. But as it stands at the moment, it looks like the final seat is down to a contest between Jerry Crawford and Dakota Nick Venman, with Niall McConnell in the shadows saying, "Don't ignore me, I most certainly haven't gone away."
Yeah, a lot of people keeping an eye on that to see what happens there. Michaela Clark, good morning to you again. So you've, the same as we have here, we have Milford, we have Letterkenny. You've got two areas to keep eyes on today.
Yeah, so we have the Buncrana local electoral area and Carndonagh local electoral area. And obviously yesterday, the story of the day was, particularly here in showing the story of the 100% redress party, as it was in Letterkenny too. So talking even to Martin McDermott yesterday, he was saying that, you know, he could feel it on the ground that they would get support, but I don't know if we anticipated how much support they would get. So in the Buncrana local electoral area, Joy Beard, her and Ali Farron, they're both the two candidates here in Carndonagh. And Ali yesterday, he pulled in 2,223 first preference votes according to the tallies. And definitely the party was happy. They were formed on the back of frustration. They felt that there was no voice for them, so they took it upon themselves, and they've done extremely well. So Joy Beard is going to be elected to Donegal County Council for the first time, and Ali Farron in the Carndonagh local electoral area. Looking then at Buncrana again, there's 5 seats available. Sinn Féin's Jack Murray has topped the poll there. So he's exceeded the 1,396 quota with 2,060 votes, pulling in almost 600 more votes than he did in 2019. And then Fianna Fáil's Paul Canning, he topped the poll in 2019. And while he has seen a drop in votes, he looks set to retain his seat in the Buncrana local electoral area as well. Then depending on transfers to reach that quota, the remainder of candidates, although Fianna Fáil's Finan Bradley and Sinn Féin's Terry Crossan are ahead by a few hundred votes, there will be a fight then on the transfers, where Jack Murray's transfers are going, where Joy Beard's transfers are going, and also Paul Canning. Will that get Terry Crossan over the line? He is expected to retain his seat, but the battle then may be between Finan Bradley and Sinn Féin's Niamh McGuinness. Niamh McGuinness has secured 5.5% of the vote according to the tallies. But nothing can be ruled out. We'll see as the day goes on there. So Kim McMenamin of the Irish People's Party as well, he pulled in 516 votes. Fine Gael's Peter McLaughlin, he received 446 votes. I'm sure he was hoping that he would have been more successful, given that he was a former member of Buncrana Town Council. Independent Adrian McMyler, he was disappointed. Speaking to him yesterday, he received 3.2% support of the electorate with 265 votes. Into candidate Liam Mulligan in the Buncrana local electoral area, he received 146 votes, and Eamon McGee, an independent, he could be out of the running. It is looking likely. He received just 85 votes. Likewise, the Green Party's Jason Leigh Mazur, he gathered just 82 votes. So it is likely that, well, I'd say they are out of the race at this stage. But the Green Party hasn't really fared well here in Inishowen. We look then to the Carndonagh local electoral area. Their candidate there was Michael White.
Just before you go on to that in relation to Buncrana, because it is kind of interesting, isn't it, in that Paul Canning, Jack Murray, Joe Baird, of course, or Joy Baird, I beg your pardon. Obviously, they are over the line. And then people might go, well, Niamh McGuinness is only 464. She's behind others, not least, say, for an example, she's going to be fighting it out with Fianna Bradley, because that's the nature of proportional representation and vote transfers on you. Even though she is behind or level-ish with Fine Gael's Peter McLaughlin, the huge surplus Jack Murray has and other voting strategies, it means that she actually has an opportunity, though I wouldn't say she's favourite, to pit Fianna Bradley of Fianna Fáil for that last seat.
Yeah, that's it. I think the talk yesterday was that between Fianna Bradley and Niamh McGuinness is that surplus from Jack Murray that will get her over the line, the second preference vote. So that's, although Peter McLaughlin, as you said, they are kind of all on similar numbers, but it will be that surplus. Where's that going to go? And obviously the nature of politics, it is likely that Niamh McGuinness will get a huge tranche of Jack Murray's surplus vote.
Brilliant stuff. You were going to Carndonagh there.
Yeah, so Carndonagh mentioned the Green Party there and Michael White. We talked earlier as well about Ali Farn. He was walking around yesterday like a Cheshire cat. He is in here this morning, just came in the door as well. So he's delighted. He's topped the poll there. So he then will be followed by Martin McDermott of Fianna Fáil. He topped the poll in 2019 and his vote kind of looks around the same. He did anticipate that the 100% Redress Party would take some of his vote, but he secured now, he was saying yesterday, over 2,000 votes for the third time to get him that seat in Donegal County Council, so he's delighted with that. Other candidates then in the North End is shown. It'll depend on transfers again here. We have Sinn Féin's Albert Doherty. Then we have the Labour Party's Martin Farron. They're both sitting councillors, so I'm sure it will be a tight battle. Obviously, the 100% Redress has taken such a huge tranche of votes from other candidates, so they're kind of sitting on the same kind of votes that they were in 2019.
And I thought it was quite nice yesterday. A lot of people confident that Martin Farron will pull that out of the bag, as he was described as everybody's second favourite candidate, i.e. if you are going to be voting for someone else, he's very transfer or number two friendly.
Yeah, and even, working with him throughout the years, the issues that he does raise, they're local issues and issues that matter so much, like road safety in Greencastle. They matter so much to people that in the areas that he'd be depending on their vote. So that could fare him well. I do think it's so hard to know at the minute with the transfers, but I do think that, they could be safe, but it's so hard to know because we have Johnny McGuinness there as well. So we know he was co-opted onto the council following the death of his father, Bernard McGuinness. He won the seat in 2019. So it'll be very emotional, I think, for Johnny, kind of waiting to see, is he going to hold on to that seat? And, he has done a lot of work since he's come onto the council as well, raising local issues, and particularly for businesses and tourism that, we need more of an effort here in Inishowen. So I'd say it'll be difficult. And yesterday you could see by him that, he was kind of, obviously everybody, nothing's concrete until at the end of the day, but it's a long time waiting for him today, but we'll see. But then there is only 4 seats, so if Johnny gets in, there's one of the sitting councillors could possibly lose their seat. Then we have Paul Barry McKinney. He's an independent. He's on 383 votes. He was followed then by Sinn Féin's Tony Devine. I'm sure they would have been hoping that Tony would have done a bit more, so she was currently on 261 votes. That'll depend then on maybe Albert's transfers, where that's going to go. Then we have the Irish People's Party's Donald McKinney. He pulled 168 votes. There's a good distance between him and his party colleague Kim McMenamin in the Buncrana local electoral area. But yeah, they're counting here at the minute, so we'll see how the day goes.
All right, and is there tallies ongoing at the moment, just as we speak?
No tallies.
Okay,
no.
Right, okay, brilliant
Just counting.
stuff. Listen, thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed, Michaela. Now, we still have to go to Donegal Town. We still have to run through Letterkenny. We're also going to be speaking to Oisin Kelly in Glenties, but we also have to take a break. So stay where you are. We'll be back with more as we go round the county between now and 10 after this break.
Pre-orders for the 242 model.
Irwin Expert Electrical, your trusted destination for all things home appliances, electrical and entertainment in the Northwest. With over 50 years of leading the way, we pride ourselves on offering a diverse range of products under one roof. From top brands like LG, Samsung, Cooker, Bosch, Apple and more, take advantage of our free layaway service where you can store your new items until you're ready for them. Perfect for renovations and new build projects. Visit Irwin Expert Electrical today in Letterkenny or Buncrana.
More rowning to umper pibli nuris fader, cowring to la hastiachti umper na hair na leid. Anuri, Glachdina fud na hair nos kion 3 million tourists vos nu rain. Agus chun cowry latim lina, tobiog noch 1 billion euro curher latif chun umper pibli nis glina, nis glisha, agus nis farach rohu. Mar kibi oju wil de real, to tovacht le de hurris. Jachterach do realtas na hair. Nis maola show gov.ie, /your journey counts.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out shaneconleycars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Coming this year to Dublin for the very first time, 71 shows completely sold out. Hamilton at the Bord Gáis Energy Theatre. Experience the revolutionary musical that's taken the world by storm. Witness history come alive with electrifying performances and unforgettable music with a modern twist. Book your place now on the outlet at highlandradio.com or call us on 074 91 25,000. Highland Radio local and European election count coverage. It's now back to Greg Hughes at the Ora Letterkenny.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the programme. In this hour between 9 and 10, we're going around the various count centres as we catch you up on what happened yesterday and setting the scene for what is to happen tomorrow. And we'll go to Glenties first, then we'll head off to Donegal Town. But it is over to Oisin Kelly. You've already used up all of your Irish, Oisin, so you're probably going to have to just batter on Oscailiga from here on in. I can't hear you. Maybe that's my fault.
We're delighted to be here. What's happening at the moment, Greg, is sorry, you're just very low, Greg. We asked me a question there.
I was just going to say carry on there.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the Glenties area in the Highlands Hotel. Counting is underway since 9 o'clock. Just looking around the room to see if any of the candidates have arrived. The only one I see at the moment is Brian Carr of Sinn Féin. But things are very quiet at the moment. And as we know, the independents, Greg, have eaten into the first preference votes of the three big parties, with Micheál Colin McCullough Aspect.
Okay, Oisin, sorry, we've an issue there. Everyone's muted, so if you could just unmute yourself, Oisin, I beg your pardon. That's just a wee glitchy jig. Okay, go ahead, Oisin, you were in full flow there. That's the wee glitch
you caused. You muted everybody, didn't you?
Nope. Well, I was listening. Okay, if we're going to do it on air, I was listening to Donna Marie and Marty Friel having a conversation in the John Bosco Centre. Okay, so that's
okay.
All right, carry on, Osh. Go ahead.
Where was it? Where was it cut off at? Anyway, we're talking about the independents, Craig. I was making the suggestion that the first preference votes, the independents have eaten into the three big parties. And if you look at the percentages of yesterday, 30.8% of the vote went to Micheál Colin McCullough Aspect and Michael McClafferty. That's almost a third, Greg, of independent votes. And the bigger parties, particularly Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, are struggling in the Glenties area. We'll start with Fianna Fáil. It looks as if they could lose a seat. So they could off the back of 2019, Anthony Malloy and Noreen McGarvey had picked up the seats for Fianna Fáil. Noreen passed away towards the end of last year, and nobody was co-opted onto that seat. It was decided to leave it until this local election. And it looks like they may lose that seat. Even though Anthony Malloy is up by 500 votes, Greg, they're really, really struggling outside of that.
You were talking yesterday,
Oisin,
you were talking yesterday about how, he got up to a certain level when boxes in his area were opened and then sort of stagnated a little bit.
He did, because all the Ardra boxes were out first, and very quickly he was up to 1,000, but for a large part of the day he was stuck between 1,000 and 1,200. Now, in the end, he ended up with 1,400, and that is more than likely going to be enough for Anthony Malloy to retain his seat. He really only got into politics in 2019, and he got in towards the end, and it looks like he's going to retain his seat. Glenties, as we know, has been a Fianna Fáil stronghold, Greg. We have the Coke machine down this part of the county, and we were talking about first preference votes. I was doing a bit of maths this morning. 3,806 first preference votes for Fianna Fáil in 2019. Now, they did have 4 candidates then. This time around, they've 3, Greg, and 2,396 first preference votes. That's a significant drop, and something that really had John McAteer's head ticking over yesterday with the amount of first preference votes that they've dropped. But they are struggling now to try and get a second seat here. Let's mention Fine Gael as well, because they're also struggling if they're going to regain a position in Glenties. They had Michael McLafferty as one of their main men back in 2019, and that love affair lasted only a number of weeks because he left the party and he went independent, and that left Fine Gael with no seat here in Glenties, and it looks like it's going to be the same scenario again, because Joseph Malloy only polled a first preference votes of 736, and I don't think, Greg, there's going to be maybe enough of the transfers there to get Joseph Malloy over the line. And we have to remember as well that back 5 years ago, anybody that was in the region of 700 votes didn't get over the line in Glenties, and anybody with over 1,000 who were 1,000 down on the quota in that 700 range, they weren't elected in the last 3 elections here in Glenties. So Fine Gael, as we said, did have Michael McLafferty, but he then left, and they're really struggling. And Greg, if we want to go back and do a wee bit of a historical trek, 20 years ago in 2004, 5 of the 6 seats in Glenties was the 2 parties that are of course currently in government, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Those 3 Fianna Fáil seats and those 2 Fine Gael. So, going by yesterday's tally, out of those 5 seats in a 20-year period between the parties, they're going to only retain just a single seat.
Brilliant
so
stuff.
That's the state of play there with Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil.
At this point, then, as much as we can say, who looks over the line in Glenties?
Who looks over the line in Glenties? Well, as we know, Micheál McGill-Aspig and Michael McLafferty. It's easy to say a phenomenal vote by both of those, Greg.
Yeah, a third of the vote is remarkable.
Micheál's up 2,111. That's up 104 from the first count last time when he walked through, and he's up with his vote. Michael McLafferty, 890. Like, where did that come out of? Normally you see building with the party machine behind you, Greg. He's done it as an independent, and he's nearly doubled his vote, and he's going to go through on the first count as well. And Anthony Malloy, you would think at this stage, is safe with 1,400, up 484 votes from the last time, and that seems to be the only Fianna Fáil seat. Now, as things stand, Sinn Féin will retain their 2 seats. Brian Carr is up around 100 on his first preference the last time. Even though he had 900 in 2019, that didn't get him across the line, Greg, because the transfers didn't come for him. But he's got 100 more this time around, and he may also have the help of the likes of Kelly Rogers of Sinn Féin to come as well when it comes down to transfers. John Sheamus O'Farrell is currently in the 5th seat position, but he's lost a lot of ground, 461 votes compared to 5 years ago. But he's still in with a shout because he's in between that 900 and 1,000 bracket. And that's, again, with Kelly Rogers' transfers, who is currently on 796. That may aid him and get him across the line as well, as Nicholas Crossan suggested yesterday. The story, particularly in any showing, one of the stories is how the 100% redress are doing. And we've got a man from Maharorty, Dennis McGee here. He's a first-timer into politics, Greg, and he polled 876 first preference votes in the Glenties electoral area yesterday. which was a super performance
Yeah.
for a man that didn't have much to do with politics, to do that first time round and have himself currently sitting in the sixth seat is a brilliant job by Dennis McGee. We talked to him several times yesterday as he walked past us, and maybe it was probably a bit overwhelming, the scenario of the I suppose the game that he was in yesterday, but he's doing very, very well. And he may get across, that 876 may be enough, because if there is surplus to come from the likes of Michael McClafferty, who's not too far from that area, he could end up getting a big chunk of those. But we have to see, and there could be, one of the questions that I noted here is, along the transfers, is there enough in there for Dennis McGee to get across the line? If Michael McClafferty can help him out very early on with the surplus, Greg, he could be in a very strong position. So that's who are the main runners at the moment. Outside of that, Kelly Rogers, as we said, Sinn Féin, 796. Jonathan Stewart, an independent, 778. Is there independent surplus in there from Michael McCullough-Aspig and Michael McClafferty to help Joseph Malloy move up the order as well? And then we've got, Jonathan Stewart, and then we've got Joseph Malloy of Finn Gael, 736. He's really struggling. We have to wait to see if anybody's going to help him out on the transfers. Below that line again, John Riley of Fianna Fáil, 647. Fianna Fáil in this area will be, particularly in the Burton Port Dunloe area, north of the Guibara, will be disappointed with the first preference votes. Kevin O'Donnell, 568. Kevin O'Donnell is also in the Glenties area. There may be an opportunity for Kevin to help out some of the other contenders who are locally in the region. Michael Harkin, a first-timer as well, from Into, 462. Anne-Marie Rogers of Fianna Fáil. I think they'll be bitterly disappointed with the tally of 349. The other candidates, Jimmy Duffy of Labour, 290. Anthony Doohan, Independent, 102, and Anne Sweeney of Independent, 71.
Okay.
That was the tally figures from yesterday, Greg. And listen, we know the lay of the land for the first count and how it's going to pan out, and there's not going to be too much movement in those figures that we received yesterday.
Yeah, for sure, because as you know yourself, and anyone here would know, the tallies were so blooming accurate, were done so thoroughly. Oisín, thank you very much for now. We have to visit Donegal yet, and we're going to call into Donegal and Lifford Stranola, but we do have to take a quick break.
The weekend on Highland in association with DMG Motors Donegal Town, the home of Cupra in Donegal. Drop in and see our brand new Cupra showroom or visit dmgmotors.ie for more information on the fantastic Cupra deals today.
Being a Garda Reserve will change your life, but it can also change someone else's. I'm Sabrina and I work as a flight operations officer in Dublin Airport. I need to be able to think quickly and stay calm. It's good to be able to apply these skills when I work with the Garda Reserve. Being part of the team at the station opens up the community to me. It teaches you about society, humanity, vulnerability and justice. What the Gardaí do is challenging and demanding, so to be a part of what they give back is extremely rewarding. Being a Garda is a tough job, and that's why being a Garda Reserve is a job worth doing. Apply now at publicjobs.ie.
My home. My new home. It's out there. Maybe it's tucked away in a quiet cul-de-sac near a school, or sitting snugly between the 3rd and 5th floor of an apartment building overlooking the sea. Maybe it's still on the architect's plans and they're just about to break ground. But my home is out there, and myhome.ie make finding it easier. So whether you're a first-time buyer or you're moving, search myhome.ie today. Thousands of homes, one address.
For new perspectives and a fresh vision, join me, Greg Hughes, on the 9 till noon show every Thursday at 10:15 for your voice, your community.
It's back to the team for Highland Radio's local election count coverage live.
Okay, we're on with you until 10 o'clock. It's very early doors. You're not missing anything. We don't really have anything to bring you news. So what we're doing is just setting the scene, as I say, in the various count centres, and also just running through the tallies for those of you who were otherwise engaged yesterday. We will be going on air at 12 and pretty much staying on air until such time as we have the last person across Donegal elected. Donna Marie Doherty, a very good morning to you. How are you, Donna Marie? No? Well, go to Donald Kavanagh. Donald Kavanagh, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Okay. So what's the state of play? What's the situation there?
At the moment, we have a couple of the candidates actually in the hall, and I've had a chat with Jerry Crawford, I've had a chat with Tony McDade. I see Rebecca McDade and Charles Ward of 100% Redress are here as well. I'll be chatting to those, obviously, as the morning goes on. And the name Charles Ward is interesting because what I'm getting from people is do not discount Charles Ward. Now, we were speaking about the fact that Niall McConnell is on 856. Now, Charles Ward is on 860. And the word from the people that were looking at the tallies yesterday is he's attracting twos from all over the place. And he certainly shouldn't be discounted from the race at this point in time. Still, in terms of Jerry Crawford and Dakota Nick Venman, the perceived wisdom at this point in time is that it's probably between those two. Now, the interesting thing, talking to Tony McDade, sitting at the moment on 615 votes. Now, it's very unlikely that Tony McDade will go much further. We have the votes of Rebecca McDade of Aintrú on 410, Garvin Connolly on 509. They'll be the first two to be eliminated. Rebecca McDade's vote's interesting because obviously Aintrú would have its formation was by Padre Tobin, who was previously Sinn Féin, so some of her votes may well go to Sinn Féin, but some could go elsewhere as well. Then when we get to Garvin Connolly, one would presume Garvin Connolly on 509 will pull Martin Harley over the line. He's in the region of about 400 short of a quota at the moment, so Garvin Connolly should transfer well to Martin Harley if the Fine Gael strategy does go to plan. But chatting to Tony McDade and chatting to Jerry Crawford this morning, both of them reckon that they've been transferring to each other. So whereas Dakota Nick Venman will be hoping for a substantial transfer from Tony McDade, her party colleague, the belief is that within Lifford, people in Lifford, which is the home base of both Tony and Jerry, people believe that Tony has been transferring to Jerry and Jerry has been transferring to Tony in the Lifford area. So a fair whack of votes from Tony McDade will go to Jerry Crawford. There is, as we said before, one Stranraer box that wasn't tallied, and that sort of sits over it as well. The belief is that box is very favourable to Patrick McGowan, outgoing councillor in he lives out Killigordon direction, but will be very active in the Twin Towns. And the belief is that that Stranraer box may predominantly benefit him, so that should help to bring him comfortably over the line. So the way it's looking on the last seat at the moment, it could well be a straight fight between Crawford and Nick Venman, but both Charles Ward and Niall McConnell should not be ruled out as of yet.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for that. Donna Marie, good morning to you. Sorry about that. We'll just unmute ourselves and then we'll bat around with a little update. All right, you're muted there, so if you unmute in a second, I'll go to Letterkenny then at the moment.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Donna Marie. Yep.
Good morning, we're
Good
here.
morning.
Okay, so we're down in John Bosco. The votes are starting to be counted. Now, the way things were left yesterday, Michael Naughton of Fianna Fáil, he topped the tally, so he did. He was on 1,817. A big change up from the results, if we were to take this here as it was in 2019, if these were the final results, we'd be looking at quite a different council. Now, there's 15 candidates, and they are seeking 6 seats, and there was going to be a guaranteed one new face, but based on the tallies, we could see 2. So Noel Jordan of Sinn Féin came in second. He was at 1,538, followed by his party colleague Michael McMahon, who was on 1,358. And then we have Jimmy Brogan. Now, Jimmy has worked with Thomas Pringle in his office for the past 12 years, I believe it was, and he's done quite well. Now he's come in 4th, sitting in around 1,335, followed by Paul Kennedy, another independent, another new face, and he's sitting in at 1,310, and that leaves then Manus Boyle of Fine Gael in 5th at 1,278, and Barry Sweeney of Fine Gael in 6th position, and he's at 1,270. Now, it could be a case of Barry Sweeney and Niamh Kennedy, both of them kind of looking in hot water. They are in 6th and 7th position at the moment, but with transfers and surpluses and how things go, it could be a question of who's going to make it and who's going to fall short. Carrying on down there, Martin Hegarty, apologies, of Fianna Fáil is in at 742. Now, he's in an interesting position because his party colleague Claudia Kennedy of Fianna Fáil is at 286, which is not ideal for her. But his other party colleague, Michael Naughton's in top, so we could be looking at transfers and surpluses. Could give him a bump, could give him maybe what it is that he needs. Linda Boyle of Sinn Féin didn't do too good in the tallies, 441. And Patrick Brogan of Aintrú, 277, followed by Derek Vile, independent, at 180, and John Malloy of the Independent underneath Irish Peoples, and he's in at 131. Now, his not necessarily his party colleagues, but it's a band of independents
Yeah.
who went together under the Irish people, went for a different approach. And I think in this case, it didn't work out. So it's going to be quite the interesting day looking at Niamh Kennedy in particular. Now, she was the first elected in 2019 whenever this last happened. So for her to go from that top position to having to fight for a seat, because if we're taking it at face value the way these tallies are, she's out.
And who is the sense that she would be? And as I say, this may change. We're simply speculating, right? So we appreciate things might change as the day wears on. But who did you mention that the she might be contesting that last seat with, if we were to just take it as is?
Barry Sweeney. Barry Sweeney is sitting at 1,270 and Niamh is at 1,096. So between the two of them, there's not an awful lot of room in it. Both outgoing councillors. Hopefully one will be a returning councillor in their own perspectives, but it's just a matter of who it will be. It's going to be a tight one here in Donegal. Yeah,
and Killybegs, Ballyshannon are a million miles away, even though geographically they are quite close. What's the mood in the room there? It's very early doors, like the rest of our centres. Yeah, very
early doors. Looking around the room here, candidate Jimmy Brogan is in position. We can see not many other candidates here now, but there is representatives. I can see somebody here from Micheál Naughton's party looking quite relaxed. The rest of the table, there's a lot of huddled conversations, whisperings, looking around the rooms, trying to gauge how things are going. So it's a constant hum, but it's a tense one.
All right, okay. And like everywhere, it'll all fill out, I suppose, during the course of the day. Thank you very much indeed for that. That's Don Marie, the Bosco in Donegal Town. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll have a look at Letterkenny.
Join me, Marty Friel, every Friday night from 8 for Rockin' Hits on Highland Radio in association with Arena 7, where you can enjoy dinner and drinks in the Woodbury Grill, Bar and Restaurant before bowling in Arena 7's state-of-the-art lanes. See arena7.ie.
Where will this summer take you? Whether it's a family road trip or a well-deserved weekend adventure, a new Ford can take you there. The Ford Summer Sales Event runs from the 7th to the 18th of June. Experience the new Kuga and new Puma models ready for 242. Along with offers across the range, including up to €4,500 off the adventure-ready new Kuga. Book an appointment for the summer sales event on Ford.ie. T's and C's apply. Ford. Bring on tomorrow.
Did you know Cool Kids Sligo have the biggest range of baby equipment in the Northwest, with 25 years of baby expertise? Cool Kids Sligo take deposits on your baby bundle. Visit us in-store at Cool Kids Sligo or shop online at babyaccessories.ie for free nationwide delivery. Make Cool Kids Sligo your #1 destination for all things baby.
I've just had the Eclipse Cinemas experience. Wow, they truly have taken a night at the movies to a whole new level. Amazing recliner chairs, director's lounge VIP rooms, pizza and hot food served to your seat. Have a glass of wine and enjoy the film on the big screen. Try it for yourself at Eclipse Cinemas Bundoran and Lifford Strabane, where the stars shine brighter. By the way, the pizzas are amazing. You can book your seat anytime at eclipsecinemas.ie.
Hi folks, Paul McDevitt here, inviting to join myself and Jimmy Stafford this Monday night for another edition of the Monday Night Sessions. On the show this week, we welcome from Lurgan in County Armagh, the Cartels. Derry singer Joanne Harkin will also be popping in for a chat on a few songs. And from Roscommon, we welcome amazing singer-songwriter Ciara Lawless. So, that's the Monday Night Sessions this Monday night between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. as always, right here on Highland Radio.
Okay, you're very welcome back to our election coverage, our local election coverage 2024. We'll keep you updated as well as it relates to what's happening from a European perspective. The tallies were a nightmare yesterday, scattered all over the place, and we weren't able to bring them together in a meaningful way. But we will start getting some figures as this morning and day wears on. I'm Greg Hughes. I'm live here from the Ora Leisure Centre covering Letterkenny, Milford. Donald Kavanagh is in the Finn Valley. He's covering Lifford Stranraer for you. We have Oisín Kelly in the Highlands Hotel covering Glenties. Michaela Clark is in Inishowen covering Inishowen North and South. And also we have Donna Marie Doherty Did I mention Donamarie? Down in Donegal town. All right, so what happened in Letterkenny yesterday? Well, the quota expected to be 1,608. There are 7 seats up for grabs here, and there are 18 candidates. And I might bring Donal in a little later on this, just as a Letterkenny person. Kevin Bradley, Independent, 717 votes. Kieran Brogan, 1,380. Mary T. Sweeney of Aintu, 760. Selena O'Donnell, Independent, 32. Thiba Ahmed, 433 first preferences. Decky Jordan, the Townie, 626, I beg your pardon. Michael McBride, an Independent, he polled 1,088. Ulick Hughes of Sinn Féin, 348. Jimmy Kavanagh, Fine Gael, 1,222. Thomas Devine, 100% redress, 1,259. Now, yesterday it was a story about 100% redress, but it's also another story almost too about some of the other candidates that are not politicians but coming to the fore, and that is the story that will be told in the days ahead, no doubt. Donald Coyle of Fianna Fáil, 948. Jerry McMonigal of Sinn Féin, 952. Labour's Michael McLaughlin, 329. Donald Mandy Kelly topped the poll for Fianna Fáil. We spoke to him yesterday, obviously delighted, 1,791. Sandra Haughey of Sinn Féin, 605. Nuala Carr Green Party, 175. Vincent Bradley, Independent, 108. Dr. Anne McCluskey, the Irish People's Party, 144. Now, there still was one tally box that wasn't counted in the tallies. It hasn't gone missing. All your votes are safe. It just is not included in these tallies, and perhaps not so significant that it would matter. OK, I'm going to invite Donal in to have a chat about that in a moment. But I want to go back to Inishowen now, because Michaela Clark has a guest with her, Kim McMenamin, and we'll get to hear what he thinks of how he's done. Over to you, Michaela. You're just going to have to unmute, so we'll use the faders preferably over the mute on the connection, if that's all right. It'd be great. Okay. All right, listen, we'll come back to you in a second. Go ahead now, Michaela.
No, is that it? Yeah, perfect. So we're joined by Kim McMenamin here of the Irish People's Party. Kim, you're delighted with your vote? Over 500?
Yeah, absolutely. Over 500 first preferences. I'm totally over the moon. I'm elated because my first time out, I wasn't expecting a lot. So I'm really, really surprised. And I know I've got loads of twos and threes and fours, that type of thing. So yeah, it's just a great thing. No matter what happens or what result happens, I've already won. I'm already a winner because I know now I have the mandate of those people. And out of, I think I'm sure there was 52% didn't vote. So out of that 52% who didn't vote, I spoke to a lot of them, and they're disenchanted, and they just don't have any trust or belief in the political system and elections. And I understand that totally. Now, those out of that 52%, I have massive support. So out of all of that, I just know that my support base is massive. And my main issue is mass immigration is supported by all the parties. I know it didn't reflect locally. It should have, because it's going to affect people locally. Any national issue around immigration is going to definitely affect people locally. And that's it. Our people are being replaced. And in Lebanon, if you look up, if you go like 3 or 4 posts down on my page, you'll see what happened to Lebanon. They were replaced by the Muslim community from
and what about the party and the rest?
It took them 30 years to do it. So our country is in serious danger, and this is my biggest issue, because it's going to affect us all. Our youth have 2 choices: stay in the bedroom with mum and dad, or be a couch surfer, or go to the airport. That is totally unfair, unjust, unreal. All the while they're being replaced by cheap labour. Yeah.
And in terms of the party and the rest of the county, how do you feel the vote has gone there? Do you think it's because you're from Buncrana that you've done well?
Yeah, I think so. And I think any sitting councillor, anybody who did get in, they got in on merit, because they did a lot on the ground for their constituents. And, deservedly so, because people remember when somebody has done something and come to the door and got them some help with either a council house or repairs to a council house or something. So that a lot of it's on merit. But I feel like the whole thing's gone back to the traditional way of voting. Mm-hmm. The main party didn't really get punished, and like in the no vote. So But I
Very
think
interesting day ahead for yourself. You'll be keeping watch, though, of the transfer.
I can't wait.
vote.
I'm going to be jumping up and down if I get two more votes, because, look, I cannot fail in what I'm doing, because everybody I speak to, over 80% of the Irish people believe the government are taking too many people into our country. And it's like this, like, if you have a burst pipe
But
in your
they've
house...
still got support, so we'll see
Yeah,
how the
but
day
if you have a
goes.
burst pipe in your house, you do not try and fix it while the water's running. You go and turn the main off. So the main tap into our country needs to be turned off. And that gives us a chance, a breathing space to fix this country.
Rightio.
And this is what I'm about. I'm going to build a party here in
We're
Buncrana.
going to have to jump back to Greg.
I'm
but
going
we
to
will-
I'm
we'll-
going to get
we'll
massive
keep in
support.
touch. We'll keep in touch.
Okay, well, listen, come here. We'll be, I'm sure maybe you'll be speaking to Kim or other candidates over the course of the day. So back to Letterkenny now, and thanks very much, Michaela, for that, by the way. Back to Letterkenny now, and obviously Kieran Brogan, the likes of Michael McBride, Thomas Devine, 100% redress. Anyone over 1,000, particularly Donald Mandy Kelly, in a good space. There are 7 seats, but Donald, just yesterday when we were discussing an awful lot of this, there's still an awful lot to play for, and there's you could throw a blanket over 4 or 5 people within a couple of hundred points that we don't really know yet how it might possibly go.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to call, Greg, because we will lose, it seems, at least one sitting councillor, because all 7 of the sitting Letterkenny councillors went up for re-election. At the moment, it would seem on the figures, the one most in danger is Kevin Bradley. He's currently sitting on 717. We can presume that Thomas Sean Devine, he's sitting on over 1,200, so he will be elected, so someone's going to lose a seat. Kevin Bradley, as we say, is on 717. Donald Coyle of Fianna Fáil is on 948. And he could find himself facing a long wait for the transfers to finally get him over the line. Jerry McMonigal is currently sitting on 952. I mean, that's his vote is down on previous years. He did have 2 running mates in the form of Sandra Haughey and Ulick Hughes. Now, between the two of those, Sandra Haughey has 605 votes, Ulick Hughes has 348. That's just short of 1,000 votes between them. So one would presume that their votes should comfortably take Jerry McMonigal over the line. It doesn't look like either of those really will be in the shout for a seat. So it will be one Sinn Féin out, one Sinn Féin back in. That should keep
in
him
relation to
but,
the likes of Decky Jordan in there with 626. And the likes of Mary T. Sweeney, 760. I mean, I think both of those might be disappointed with their... And I would say Thema Ahmed too. She ran it very close last time, I seem to recall, for the last seat at 433. It's again, to some extent, it seems to be a more traditional type vote again.
Yeah, I was talking to Mary T at the County Centre yesterday. She is, I think, disappointed with her vote. She got a strong enough vote in some of the boxes in Letterkenny, but she was really hoping to land a bit more in the outlying areas of Letterkenny. She hasn't done. Now, 760, you can't really discount her. I mean, she's ahead of Kevin Bradley. One will be looking at, as we say, the Fianna Fáil vote. A lot's going to depend on how well the Fianna Fáil vote transfers to each other. Now, Donald Mandy Kelly is going to have a surplus, and they'll be certainly hoping that his surplus will go on down. Kieran Brogan may well end up with a surplus as well if he's elected in one of the mid-counts. Donald Coyle will be hoping to get a lot from those other Letterkenny candidates. Will they go back to Donald Coyle? He's very busy and very prominent around about the Murky area. He's done a lot of work on roads and so on, so he'll be looking at others. He'll be hoping to get something. For instance, Sandra Haughey isn't that far away from Donald Coyle, so if there is a geographical transfer, Donald Coyle will be looking to her and hoping to get a couple of votes from Sandra Haughey as well when she's eliminated. So it's Coyle is probably in prime position for a seat. One would, and looking at it, Kevin Bradley seems to be the one who's somewhat isolated. That said, Declan Jordan on 626. If there is an independent vote, could some of those voters have gone from Kevin Bradley, gone to Decky Jordan, and then go back to Kevin Bradley once Decky Jordan is eliminated?
All right, it all remains to be seen. Donald, thank you very much for now. Right, we are on air with you until 10 o'clock. And then we take a break, and then it's wall to wall from 12. There's not an awful lot happening at any of the County Centres just at the moment. We're going to cross back to Glenties now, live to Oisín Kelly, who has a guest with him. Good morning again, Oisín.
Yeah, good morning, Greg. Welcome back here to the Highlands Hotel, and I've got Brian Carr with me. Brian, very good morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So how are you feeling today? Over 1,000 yesterday, first preference. Are you happy with that? You're up 100, well, just under 100 from the previous time. Are you content with where you're at?
Yeah, I think that's what I was kind of hoping with the second candidate in Glenties town.
Yeah.
I was, and he got over 500, with great vote for him, for Kevin. So I was happy, to be in around 1,000 votes, after it finished with the first count. So I will,
Is 1,000 good enough to get you over the line again?
Again, I wasn't over the line. Well, is 1,000 good enough? Hopefully it will be. Hopefully now that transfers coming from Kevin, but where else things are going to happen? There's a lot of candidates sitting on 700, 700, 800 votes. So how that's going to transpire throughout the day, it's going to be interesting, a long day where them twos are going and threes and fours.
There's no real indication even from yesterday as to where the transfers are going. Nobody seems to not have a clue what's going to happen.
Normally you would be able to sit and say, oh, they're going to go there. It was a mixed bag. Looking at the tallies yesterday, looking over people's shoulders, they can go anywhere.
Yeah.
They can absolutely go anywhere. They were voting north, south parties, cross parties, everything. They were voting everywhere.
Yeah. Just finally then, because I know we have to go back to the other counter centres before 10 o'clock. Obviously, Fianna Fáil is taking a big hit here, so they have Fine Gael's taking a big hit. It looks like Sinn Féin may hold on to their 2 seats now. Jan Seamus O'Farrell has taken a hit as well. But from the point of view of the independents and the boys sitting at the top, were you surprised by Michael McClafferty's performance?
No, as I've told people, I've met Michael and McClafferty's team on back roads throughout the whole county, so they put in a massive effort, and it's proven, when you do the work, the figures come out, and well done to Michael. And we're still in there with 3 seats, a chance of 3 seats for Sinn Féin.
Can you get 3 seats?
We think we can, yes.
Okay.
We can. When these transfers fall the right way, we think we can get 3 seats.
Okay, we'll see how the day develops. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Lovely,
Back to you, Greg.
Thank you very much, Oisín. We're going down to the John Bosco Centre now in Donegal Town. Donna Marie.
Hello, I'm here with Jimmy Brogan. Now, Jimmy, this is your first time running. How are you finding things so far?
I'm finding very good. A good result yesterday. So very thankful for that. Just didn't really know what to expect coming into it. Worked with Thomas Pringle for the last 12 years, so I've been involved in elections before. So, but I've been involved in sort of the office for that length of time. But it was just very hard to know how things would go when when the count would actually be in it. So, I'm fairly happy with it. So.
How did you find though? You've worked in elections before, but it was spotlight on you this time. Was it hard?
Well, it is because at the end of the day, working on somebody else's campaign is completely different to working on your own. So you're the one that has to answer all the questions. So you can always deflect the questions to the candidate if somebody else is running, but the buck stops with me when I'm running. So
that's it. Now, one of your areas is Mount Charles. Noel Jordan's there, big player.
Yeah.
So for your first election to come in, it's nothing to turn your nose up at. You've done quite well so far anyway.
Yeah, I was happy. Well, I knew Noel would do well anyway, because Noel's been a councillor for 10 years, doing a good enough job. So I was hoping to add to the councillors in Mount Charles. We had John Campbell, so we had 2 councillors in the parish of Inver before. So I was hoping that I would get a second seat, and thankfully it's working out so far. But listen, there's no guarantee, I'm still not elected.
All right, Donna Marie.
Still a lot of votes to be counted, but I'm hoping for the best,
That's it. Thanks, Greg. We'll go back over to you now.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Donna Marie, and thanks to the entire team right across the county. That was just an hour to get your whistle wet. That's a phrase, isn't it? We're going to be back on air at 12. You'll not miss a thing, by the way. It's slow at the moment in terms of any progress, but our teams are going to be here live from 12 with loads more news, loads more information. Whoever is elected, you'll hear it here first. Whoever is eliminated, you'll hear it here first. We'll have interviews, speeches, everything that you'd expect from Highland Radio on our election day coverage. But we'll throw back to studio and we'll chat to you at 12, unless we have to come back in with anything important.
The Weekend on Highland in association with DMG